Good afternoon. We want to welcome you to our show today, The Community Voice with Versi. And today we have a very exciting show. Today on our show, we're going to be talking about disproportionality and the Child Protective Service System. And we have some exciting guests with us today. To my right here, we have Chandra Rogers McGarry. To my left, we have Mia Williams. They are both disproportionality specialists with the Child Protective Services. And then we have just to my far left here, we have Sister Mama Sonia, who is co-chair of the Houston Disproportionality Advisory Committee, and she also is the founder of the Three Sisters Spirit Theater Ministry. So today we're going to talk about a subject that it's not a common word, I'm told, but we're going to have these ladies talk to you about disproportionality. And I guess my first question would be, what is disproportionality? And we're going to start here with Chandra.
Well, disproportionality is defined as the overrepresentation of a particular culture, a race, in a program or system. And as it relates to the Child Protective Service System, African American children represent a larger percentage of children in the foster care system relative to their makeup in the overall population.
Okay. What do you think caused? What are the causes of disproportionality? We'll go now to Mia.
Well, Ms. King, what studies have shown is that there's no clear-cut answer as to what causes disproportionality. However, some of the main contributing factors that have been shown in studies is institutionalized racism. And what that means is that a lot of the institutions that were created for our country were not designated or designed for the needs of African American people, thusly causing an overrepresentation in several systems, not just in the CPS system, but in the criminal justice system, the juvenile justice system, as well as the educational system.
All right. This is, and is it only in the Black community? Are we seeing, are you telling me that it's a larger amount in the Black community, but does it affect other communities also?
Well, what we know is that African American children are overrepresented in all 50 states. We see that Hispanic children are overrepresented in 10 states. And so it's not just a Texas problem. This is a national issue that is affecting the lives of children in the foster care system.
Yeah. Okay, Mayor, we want to try to add a little bit more to that.
Absolutely. I concur with my colleague that it impacts. Now, here in Texas, now in Harris County, the Hispanic population is not overrepresented as it relates to the population. However, in smaller surrounding counties, such as Fort Bend County, there's a large percentage of Hispanic children that are being impacted by our Children's Protective Services system. But we're making great strides to make sure that we address this issue across the board.
Okay. Now, Sister Mama Sonia, you're here with us today, and you're representing that part of the community. Tell us your role in this process.
Well, first of all, I'm an adoptive mom, and that's what really got me involved in it, because I look at my child could be one of the people that would be aging out. So I wanted to do all that I could to work with and make sure our children don't go in earlier and stay later. Because what I like to say is it's sad that you ask the child, who's your mom and dad? And they say the state of Texas. That's what happens to those kids who age out. So I became involved to make sure. CPS has a checkered history, with the community, and my experiences were not that great. So I wanted to make sure that other people didn't mimic what I went through, just trying to adopt a child, what me and my husband went through. So we wanted to make sure that the system, smooths out and make sure that we can get more people to come and adopt our children. We in our community, we have what's called the colored adoptions. You see a child, you bring it home, and that's what happens. But what happens, there's so many benefits that we don't get. And trying to go through the formal system of adoption was so difficult. We want to make sure, that was my role, to make sure that it gets better for those involved.
You want to add a little something to that?
Well, with that, when she mentioned about the children who will age out of the foster care system, just some Harris data in regards to Harris County, African American children represent 18.6% of the overall population, but they represent 64% of children currently awaiting adoption here in Harris County. So when we share those numbers, it's pretty alarming, and
Yes, it is.
it's very alarming.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And just to collaborate on that even more, when we talk about the percentage of children in the African American children in the child welfare system, when we look at the number of children that were removed in 2010 alone, those numbers are alarming as well. Like Chandra indicated, we only make up 18.6% of the population, which is between the ages of 0 and 18.
Okay.
Now, when we talk about children that were removed out of their home and placed in the foster care system, it's 54%. And so as a community, we need to come together to address this issue so that we can put some preventative measures in place to keep our children from being, our children and families from being involved in the Children's Protective Services system.
What are some of the common trends that occur with African American children in the foster care system?
Well, what we've recognized is that African American children, like Sister Mama shared, are more likely to age out of the foster care system. Oftentimes they have more placements while in the foster care system. Those are some of the things that we've recognized with African American children.
This is a very, and it is a touchy subject because we hear so much about CPS and what you all do, and what we wanted to do today is to put a positive spin, on CPS, because there's a lot of negative stuff. You know that there's a lot of negative comments and a lot of negative stuff out there. So today we're trying to put a positive spin on what can be done and what is being done. Yes, the numbers are very alarming. They're very alarming, but they're not alarming without hope. It looks like there's something that can be done about it, and that's what you ladies are here today to tell us. So though the numbers are outrageous, it's not without hope that we can do something. And you're being involved with the community there. You're telling me now that the community can get involved in this. How can someone like me, I have no children, there are kids that are out there. How can, as me, as Shirley citizen, get involved with this process?
Well, one thing that can happen, there is a great need for more foster homes, a great need, for more foster homes, and for more people to get involved in the adoptive system. Sitting on the disproportionality committee, we'd like to bring light to the community. We call many times these children or the unforgotten or invisible population, because we really don't think of, those kids over there, they're in foster care, and they kind of they really blend in, and you forget that there's a great deal of our children. So what we want the community to do, number one, look into becoming a foster parent. Look into becoming an adoptive parent. Then there are several programs projects that we have that involve the community that you can become and get involved with. They have some wonderful programs for our girls that we'd love to have people to come in for our boys. But take an interest and, just call Mia, and Chandra and say, look, we want to help. We want to get involved with our children. When you look at on the disproportionality committee, it's made up of different people from the community. And I think one of my main purposes is to bring light to this issue. Because again, this is a silent, silent population, and people don't know that our children are so overrepresented. They go in earlier, and they stay in later. So I think the more we say that over and over, it's going to click and go, wow, we got to do something.
Have to do something now.
Yes, and definitely as an agency, we recognize that the foster care system is not a parent, is not the appropriate parent for any child. And so we recognize that there are things that we could do better. And in the past that we have not always done our best in addressing and meeting the needs of our children. And so that's why we're partnering with the community. And that's why Mia and our position was created so that we can address this issue. And the Disproportionality Advisory Committee has been great because the advisory committee works along with the CPS to address this issue. And the advisory committee says, hey, okay, CPS, what are you doing to work with this family? What are you doing? There are several subcommittees on the advisory committee who basically they hold us accountable as an agency to make sure that we're creating better outcomes for our youth and families.
Good. And how long has this been, the disproportionality, this particular segment, how long has this been? Have you seen where it's getting better, or is it working? Is it? Are you showing some improvement? Can we say that yes, we've created this, and we can see some progress here? Are you all seeing progress with it?
Absolutely.
Okay,
and what I
good,
would like
good.
to also highlight when you were speaking of the positive part about CPS, what I would like to let your viewers know is that Texas is leading the work in addressing disproportionality. Other states are coming to Texas to see exactly what we're doing to address this phenomenon. For us to address this issue, it was legislatively mandated in 2005 that CPS, you need to do something to address this issue. And other systems are looking to CPS to help them with their systems. Juvenile justice being one of them. I'm a part of one of their planning committees where we're talking about how we can address this issue together, because it's not just a CPS issue. It's an issue that's impacting other systems. And when you have community involvement, what better way to address your issue than to have the people from that community tell you exactly what their needs are? Because for so long we have told families, well, this is what you need in order for your issue to be addressed. Well, now we're taking a strengths-based approach. We're allowing families to come in and say, okay, CPS, I understand that there's an issue, but this is how you can help me. And so coming from the community, that's one of our strong points. And what we have seen between the years of 2008 and 2009, there was a 1% reduction. Although that's a small amount, but any progress is great progress.
It's great progress. Well, that's good.
And I think some of the is that keep harping on is the awareness. I think that's one of our greatest accomplishments. We're letting people know what's going on with the system. Because before, when you say CPS, that's the big booger man in the room, and CPS is coming. But CPS is here. They're not going anywhere. So we have to learn how to work with and let CPS know what the community wants, what the community needs. So I think that's one of our biggest accomplishments. We're starting to enlighten the community and starting a dialogue between the two, because before there was no dialogue.
That's good.
We have an outreach committee that's doing some wonderful things out at Clemmy Manor, and we're working with, they had a real high incidence of CPS referrals, and going in working with the families on a basis. I'm not coming to get your kid. I'm coming to talk to you. We're putting on different forums, and I think that's what's really helping. We have town hall meetings, and we go out to the community, just letting people know what's going on. And I think that's breaking down some of the barriers, and that's one of our successes.
Because what I've heard in the past, and like I said, today we want to put a positive spin on CPS, but I've heard stories that they come in, they take the kid from the family, they don't put the kid is not put with any family member, and in my church alone, we talk about this a lot. My pastor addresses this issue a lot. He says, if you're going to take the kid, then can you find a family member to keep the child within a family, setting, instead of putting him out there, with a total stranger that you don't know about. So those are some of the negative things that we've heard, is that, oh my God, CPS is coming in, they're going to take my child, and I don't know where my child is going to go. But what we're looking at is CPS working with trying to keep the family together. And that's really what we're concerned about is are you going to take a child from a home, or are you going to try to keep him within a family setting, and possibly one of his own family members, if there's a family member that will take that child in.
Definitely, because CPS, we have changed the way that we do business. And that is to include, to make sure that we keep children and families together. And with that, part of that, if a child has to be removed from their family, from their parent, we always ask ask for relatives
Okay.
to step, to see if they are capable and able to care for the children, because children thrive better in their with their
Exactly,
family members.
exactly.
We know that, and so that's one of the new initiatives that's one of our initiatives, and that's just the way that we're doing business now, is to make sure that we can keep children with their family members, because we know that they will thrive better in those in a family setting. They're familiar with their own family
Exactly,
members,
exactly.
and so that helps them to make a better transition, because it's already a loss that they're removed from their parents.
Exactly.